All right, this is the 48th episode of the Mental Breakthrough, and it's it's good to talk to you in person. This is really the first time, and our conversation can go everywhere. I really want to know about you, just your life story. There's so many people who I talk to who ask how Shawn is doing. You're Shawn Bias's son, and uh, I unfortunately I usually don't know what to say. I've I've lived in Thailand for 12 years, so I haven't really talked to anybody anyway, but the few times I've talked to Shawn, it's just like he's not that responsive or that interested in even talking
Yeah.
to me. So I don't have like, but like I said, people all over the world know him. When I was training in Japan in 2005, my sensei fought Uriah Faber, who had fought Shawn, and saw videos and knew that I knew him, so was asking about stuff. I mean, people in Scotland, people in Mexico, people that we've trained with and competed with, they're always asking. So uh, at least I can give this. I think a lot of people who watch this will be interested in just seeing uh what what your life's like and everything. I mean, I think that's the the best kind of update I can provide, but really you're going to be the one that provides it. So go ahead, just let's start out. Give me a little bit of your life story, because when I think about it, you must have been, were you even born yet in 2005? Wait, where, how old are you now?
I'm 18. I was born in no November 11th, 2005.
Okay. Okay. So there it is, right around okay. So um yeah, I mean I asked you before, obviously there's could be a sensitive topic. For me, I remember, let's see, what year was that? To me, I feel like your dad had a you probably know some of the incidences, but it was when he got tased by
Oh yeah.
police and went into a coma. I feel like that was a significant point when there was uh just became more detached from just everything. But so yeah, but give me what's I met you when you were a baby. I think I remember you being really
Hmm.
strong. You were able to just like push yourself up from the ground, and so but yeah, yeah, just go get
I mean, well, where should I start? Like, is there anything in particular you're wondering
yeah,
about
yeah.
or
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I okay, yeah. Let's actually, yeah. There's a lot of things. I mean, some of this is to, yeah, to, it's for me. It's also for the people. It's, we don't have a large people watching it. Most of the people who watch this actually know me personally and know Shawn. He was always involved in the mixed martial arts world. Before that, of course, we went to high school together. I kind of helped recruit him in wrestling. A lot of the people will be Sierra College wrestlers. So that's, I guess, we could start
Hmm.
there, because I think that's when he met your mother, and he was in the army, which was crazy. So let me give you a little backstory there. I mean, I'm sure you know a lot. There might be something that you learn from this conversation. Um, but he was in, wait, now I'm trying to think about why it was weird that he went into the army. Did he go into the army first, or now I'm forgetting, but that's what, I guess, where he met your mother. I don't know much about your,
Yeah.
except that she was in the army, I guess, and they met there. So maybe
Yeah.
there, I guess.
Well, yeah, they met I think it was in training. But yeah, they were just they were on the same base and they my dad was very, charismatic and well, they just started to get to talking. And my mom tells me this one story all the time where like their first like real date, they were at like a diner or something and they both had milkshakes and like he was so charismatic that she didn't even notice that he drunk both of their milkshakes because she was too busy, just and being enamored and all that. So
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty fun story. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's how they met. And I started dating from the military. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's definitely he's charismatic for sure. And I think that's why he's loved by so many people. And it is heartbreaking to just like yeah, just kind of lose him. I mean, I don't want to talk to him about him in the past tense, but I, there is a Shawn Bias
Yeah,
that just doesn't that's not there anymore. And like I said,
yeah.
a lot of so I mean, I guess at what point? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. I mean, I know you're close to, your grandma. I call her Mama sometimes, Chrissy, and of course, Pops passed away recently. So there's there's your connection there. I guess when your earliest memories was that I'm wondering if that already was after uh he was tased. Your dad is tased and in the coma. I mean, do you have memories of
Um,
yeah, what are your earliest memories of your dad in that sense?
so my mom and him, so I mean they never married or anything. So they weren't really like when I was born, I don't even think that they were like together,
Yeah,
Because I mean my mom lived they lived in different places. Like he lived in, Orville
yeah,
and she lived in I think either Florida or Washington. No, Washington. Yeah, either Washington or Georgia at the time. So they weren't like together.
yeah.
Um so like when I was a baby, I don't really have a lot of memories of him, but I did get to, know him before, he changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Because yeah, we used to have like video calls and because I come out to California every summer. So I did there was one summer before, he had changed and I did get to, have time with him before. So I did know him,
Okay.
beforehand too.
Good, good. Okay. Well, yeah, that's good. What were your uh do you have any memory specifically or aside from video calls when you actually got to spend time with him because he is charismatic. I mean, so I'm sure he maybe did anything
Well, it was a long time ago,
yeah.
but I mean I remember it, being a good time and when we played like board games and
Oh yeah.
he took me around, Orville and we just hung out and talked and stuff like that and so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's um so when you went to going to school, where were you at? Back east or south?
Yeah, I have lived in Florida, well, pretty much my whole life. I lived in Washington for a couple of years, when I was really little, but for pretty much my entire life, I've lived in Florida.
Okay.
So
And then right now, where are you at?
right now, I'm in Orville visiting with my
Okay.
grandma,
Okay.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that's you're there living there or you're just staying there
oh,
temporary
I'm just yeah,
summer.
just I visit every summer, yeah.
Okay. Okay,
So
cool.
just
Yeah.
temporary.
Yeah. How's she doing right now?
Oh, she's doing good. She's doing good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. No, that's, I mean, yeah, she's been through a lot, obviously. And then,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then where is your dad then? 'Cause I remember talking to Chuck one time. He was on the couch. It's just so, I mean, it's almost, it's funny
Yeah.
because, yeah, I mean, he's such a close friend of mine for so long, and I haven't talked to him in like 10 years, and he's on the couch, and Chuck was just like, hey, Chris Davis on the phone. You gotta talk to him, and he's like, no, like, no, I'm sleepy. Like, it's just, I mean, it's comical. It's sad that
Well,
he's so uninterested, I guess, in life. That was my impression, but I don't even know what is your impressions. Is he there? Is he understand what's going on, or he's just is it uninterested? Is
it's
that what it is, or he doesn't? I don't know if he doesn't remember
no,
me or he
it's
doesn't care.
okay. So I probably can give you a little insight into that.
Yes.
So it is kind of complicated because oh, and don't worry, like you can talk about whatever. I'm not like I'm a very open person. Like I don't have any like issues. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I got
Yeah.
you.
Cool, cool. I mean, I appreciate it because
So,
it is sensitive for sure. I mean, I mean,
oh yeah, yeah,
potentially,
no.
but for you, I mean, I appreciate that. Yeah, and a lot of people do. Yeah, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people ask me, and I don't know what to say. I don't have anything positive to give back. I want to give something back. That's why I'm hoping just this conversation is
Mm.
valuable. It's valuable to me. I think it'll be valuable to other people. So yeah, yeah. I guess I'm out of the loop, and it is such a touchy. I haven't pried too much, so I appreciate your openness. So yeah, I guess let me just pry a little bit. Yeah, where is he, and what has his state been in the last basically your entire memory?
So for the last couple of years, for the majority, he hasn't been, he hasn't been doing really good. He's still been struggling with his addiction, and he's gotten to the point, where it's like like it's really damaged to, like, it's as of now, it's really messed with his brain, and it's hard for him to, like, have regular conversations, and he's just kind of, he's on the streets now, he's still struggling with that. But when you say, like, you wonder if he still remembers you, like, I know he does. And
Yeah,
what I personally think it is that deep down I feel like he's sort of ashamed of, like, what what he's going through right now. Like, he's ashamed, to be the way that he is. But at the same time, he's just too trapped in it. And the
yeah,
reason I say that is because, like, there's been times where, like, he's tried, like, a lot. This is way back, but my grandpa told me he had even considered getting back into MMA, but, like, I feel like when he thinks about, like, those old parts of his life, he probably gets a little ashamed, which is why, like, it's not that he doesn't want to talk to you. It's more so that, maybe he doesn't want you to see him like that, or maybe he's just ashamed,
yeah,
thinking about, because I know he is still in there. It's not like he's just gone,
yeah,
but he's just he's the drugs damaged his brain, at least
yeah,
right now.
yeah. Yeah, I wonder also if there's resentment because I also was pretty heavy in drugs at times that I didn't it didn't get it got a hold of me, but I was able to cut loose. I've been clean for about a
Mm,
decade and stuff, so I know to whatever degree. And I was older. I was a senior when he was a freshman, so he had that. Although he kind of had his own group, or he was the oldest of his group, but still, there's obviously just an influence. I have to think of that possibility. Did you ever feel that like there's a resentment possibly too, or
I
to
don't think so. I don't know.
okay? I mean that. Yeah, I
I'm
mean
not sure.
I'm not, I mean yeah, you can't help it. Like I feel guilty. I mean you can't help it just sometimes because I I was part of that life, and I remember there was a time when he was getting clean. He was out of jail, and he wouldn't talk to anybody. But I think that's part of recovery sometimes is you got to cut everybody out in your life uh that it makes you think about addiction and all that, and that's actually would be a positive step. And so I there was a stage there where yeah I reached out to him and he wasn't ready, but I was actually I looked at it as a positive way to
Mm,
because another one of our good friends, Elijah Rennie, he was a year or he was just 1 year older, or one grade above uh Shawn Bias. He actually did that with me too. He went he uh he got clean before me, I think, or maybe yeah. And so there's a stage that you don't want to talk to people that are still using, but
right.
and that makes sense. But of course at that then yeah, after I was clean, then usually we can be good influences. And that's what's unfortunate. A lot of us did. I always say he's like a fallen soldier. I mean, we all lived kind of life pretty intense and would do crazy things, and you know sometimes I think that could have been me. I could have easily, I mean, dead as well, could end up dead or just end up in a place where I can't come back from. And and you mentioned that one time too. I wonder if there is like a uh and then yeah, I've just finished my doctorate in psychology, so I'm really interested in the mind. My mother's here; she has dementia, and so I'm just
Mm,
like I am very interested in this like where just in everyone's mind is interesting. We don't know really what's going on in somebody else's mind. And I see with my mother that she's like stuck in a place, like even though she's here in Thailand living in a living resort now, I have her living in a place close by that she has lots of other old people living with her, but she doesn't realize she's living there. Every time I visit her, she thinks she's on vacation. So it's like she's
Mm,
because she always was a traveler, so she's like stuck in this time and place. She every day she wakes up. It's like 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler. If you've seen that, it's just like every day she wakes up,
yeah.
she thinks she's in this thing. Which that if that's the case, that there's ways that you could kind of set up a lifestyle that where that would be terrifying if you're living on the streets though. So I'm wondering if your dad is, do you ever get is there a repetition at all? Like does he think he's in the same place or it's not like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I think he's pretty aware,
Mhm.
even if like, because I mean, if you've been around people that are in that same scenario where they're like people that have, been using, hard drugs like that, and they're to the point where their brain is kind of, for lack of a better term, their brain is kind of fried. Um, like even though he says strange things and acts, strangely, like you can tell, he is still there.
Yeah.
He's aware of his surroundings. He's aware of what's going on. He
Yeah.
knows what he's doing. He's still conscious.
Yeah. So is
Even
it,
if he's like fractured, so to speak.
yeah. Is so do you think so do you think he has a lot of it is the loss of ability to communicate or almost or I mean
No, no,
or
no, no.
he can communicate, he can have
He
conversation. How long?
can.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing. He can have some form of conversation, but it's like, it's hard still, even then, because,
Mhm.
it's hard to.
Yeah, it's hard for him to stay on track or he's just
Uh,
uninterested.
Partly that. Yeah, I mean, it is hard for him to stay on track. Sometimes, like when I hear, when you hear him have conversations, I'd say it seems that way.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's I mean, yeah, and updates and reality is it's good to get it just realistic update. I know that I mean in some ways I so if he is still using drugs, I feel like is it yeah, how much of it is at the same time it seems like it's permanent now. I mean, but are there is does he come go up and down? Are there moments when you're like, hey, wait, maybe he could come back, or it seems like
Mm,
it's a permanently lost? I mean, just a realistic assessment.
well, honestly, I mean, there's always hope.
Yeah.
I mean, because there have been cases where people get like that and they can, but it's at the end of the day, it's up to him because you can't force somebody to stop,
Mm. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I think he could, honestly. I do think he could come back one day, you
Yeah.
know. I do think, but it's really up to him. It honestly is.
Yeah. No, I hope I don't know if yeah, I don't know what kind of state he is, if he could get a passport and everything, but that's kind of what I'm doing out here too. That is this I'm actually what I'm doing is I don't know if I call it the Gathering 2040. So it's still far away. It's for when my kind of aged people are about in their 60s that's kind of start retiring, and I just want to have like a gathering every year. It's perfect weather out here in the winter because it doesn't rain. It's cool because I'm up in the mountains, but it's still tropical, so it's not cold. It's just cool and crisp and nice. And and yeah, it's kind of like a little fantasy I have that I could just have him here and just kind of I'm living in nature. I think it's just good physically, mentally, psychologically to just like be in nature and just kind of I just kind of want
Mm.
to have this thing um where and yeah, the things I focus on are kind of like yeah, I mean depression, but not actually just kind of well-being too, different things, um but I don't actually want to create it. I don't want to have it. It's not even for a business. I don't really want people that I don't know. I wouldn't want to take him here if I didn't know him, but because I have that personal relationship, I feel like wow, that'd be so cool to have him here, and maybe, but it's kind of a pipe dream maybe to see him. Yeah, he could just
Mm.
put something could um foster some change, but I don't know. Um
I think it's possible. I
yeah,
mean, if he gets to the point where he really wants to, like because like I feel like with people like that are in that state, like it really has to be them. Like they have to be the one to decide. Because like if you try to force them, tell them, you have to go to rehab,
yeah,
it just goes in one. But once they like people in that situation really see it for themselves and they're like, you know what, I need to get clean. That's when, the
yeah,
change happens. So you know what? I'll
yeah,
tell my grandma, and if he ever gets to that point, I'll tell her to contact you because if that you could probably help him really if
yeah,
he ever gets to the point where he's open to that.
yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I would. I mean, I want to throw that out there, just throwing it out to the universe, but then of course, uh, yeah, throwing it out to you literally, and you can, if he's ever having a lucid moment and you're able to have a conversation and he remembers me and kind of knows that I'm out here. I mean, we've had such deep discussions. I mean, so I know it. Yeah, if he's still there, he knows the things we've talked about, and it would. I feel like it would have to have some. It would have to resonate with him on some level. I mean, we went into just deep deep conversations. He was always liked the philosophy that I was. That's what I was in like uh just my bachelor's was in philosophy, and he'd always
Mm.
and I'd always talk about what I learned in the philosophy classes. He was never really that academic on that front, but he was always intelligent. He was always able to grasp the concepts that I was, involved with academically, but that that there takes a school's a different type of stimulation. I mean, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
for everybody. A lot of
Yeah,
my
no, I understand
friends are
that, yeah.
smart and can I have the best conversations with friends that never graduated or maybe graduated high school or something. So, um, yeah, no, I mean, I do. I think it's still a possibility, and I mean, obviously, at the same time, I think like the longer we go, if he's still using, it's probably doing more permanent damage. But um, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I mean, at at, uh at some point, yeah, I think it would be cool to have that yeah, just to have him here and just kind of wander around. I mean, because my land's a place that you can just kind of wander around. I'm actually I'm kind of creating this land in if I'm in the position where my mother is now, where she kind of has dementia and is stuck in this thing that I could do the same routine. I'm trying to create a lifestyle where I just kind of wander around, pick fruit off trees and water the plants and trim the bushes. And I'm doing all the hard labor now, building walkways so I can kind of roam. And I'm really trying to create, I think it's going to be an interesting place for to have my friends that are my age. As we age, I think we're all gonna eventually we're all gonna lose our mind in some way anyway, whether it's
Yeah.
from drugs or not. But you're gonna decline in some ways, but also I am a very spiritual person, and I see your dad is a spiritual person as well, and in some ways, and I've looked at drugs as like opening gateways too. I've had some amazing experiences on like mushrooms and stuff where I like peer into the other realms that
Mhm.
are maybe dangerous places to stay too long. But in some ways, I think that he might have some insight on these other realms or something. So it would be cool to. I mean, it'd be fun to have just a whole bunch of old people wandering around on my land, and to have him here too, and even if he wasn't all there, we none of us would be. Um, so so yeah, no, I'm glad I got to mention that, and yeah, maybe it'll happen.
Oh,
But
yeah. I think that's a good idea, honestly. I do.
yeah, no, that would be cool. Where is his legally? I know he's been in and out of jail, but it seems like a lot of the time it was for like once you're in there. it's like violation of probation, and then that extends it, and then it just seems like you're stuck.
Mm.
Everything gets extended, and it's actually maybe one root cause that started it, and then it just continues. Is are his legal is that ongoing or yeah,
I'm
is he
not
kind of
entirely sure,
yeah.
but he is currently in jail right now.
Oh, he is in jail.
Um, for yeah, he trespassing. He keeps on trespassing. He's banned from like a store. He keeps on going back there.
Oh yeah.
And so they had to arrest him. So he is in jail currently. When it
Yeah.
comes to like long standing and probate, I don't know honestly if he's on probation or anything. I don't have any information on that
Yeah, yeah.
right now.
But yeah, that makes it yeah, yeah, those are just kind of ongoing things. So but yeah, yeah, no, I mean I so you just graduated
I did, yeah.
and so yeah, let's talk uh yeah, let's just tell me a little bit about you. I don't know that much and then um but I mean, I saw some things. I mean, you're in are you in a band? You have a band or you do some solo stuff or stuff? I've seen some
Uh,
cool riffs you've done.
no, no, I'm not in a band. I do like as a hobby, like I do um like vocals here and there, but not like as a band. That was my school did like a little like, every year they do like a little video project like skit.
Okay.
Um but like a little bit longer, more like a 30-minute type thing. And I was just part of it because they needed like a band for like a party scene. So that's all that was. I'm not like
Okay.
in a band or anything.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's cool. What so what about I mean, what are your I mean, you can give me a little background on middle school and high school, kind of where your interests were and then where they are now. What are your plans moving forward? All of that.
I mean, well, I mean, you probably know that I'm also like pretty into, martial arts now.
Mhm.
You might have seen, I don't know how much my mom posts me like all over the place,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
probably have seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I think is interesting is that like where my dad like was really like more of a grappler to start, I'm definitely more striking is my passion.
All right.
Primarily, I really enjoy boxing. I've been boxing for the last couple of years. I really enjoy it, sparring and all that. One of my favorite things to do. I train at, you probably heard of American Top Team.
Yeah.
I train at the Longwood, Florida
Oh,
branch
nice.
of that.
Okay, yeah, nice.
And really great guys down there. Some of the best fighters in Florida, honestly, down there.
Okay,
Um, and I mean, outside of that, I'm going on to college this next coming up in August. I'm gonna study cybersecurity, information technology,
nice.
and I have studied Japanese for the last 4 years too. So there's that also
Okay.
has been a passion of mine.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I mean that's the main stuff really for now.
Nice. So, Nihongo shaberu koto ga dekimasu ka?
I
Uh, no,
I was
no, no,
I
no,
wasn't expecting you to say that.
no, no, man, it's been like because I studied abroad there in 2005, like I mentioned there, right? So,
Mm.
and I could speak pretty well then, but um, oh wow, the Zooms did it. They just said, boom, it sounds like you have switched to a different language. Wow, they knew they got that. But yeah, no. So yeah, I think because you like animation or what or the martial arts. Those are the two main
Um,
reasons people study Japanese.
so
It's either, but
I
you
did
like
have like a phase where I was really into like anime and stuff, but so like that was a while back, but then like the one thing that really stuck was that I just really like the language, so I've just been studying it pretty much nonstop for the last about like if you know like the JLPT system, I'm around like N3, maybe like yeah, like a N3 level, so like about halfway to fluency type. So it's been fun, I mean, as you know, it's a beautiful language, and
yeah,
one day I'd really love to live there because I feel like you can't really get fluent until you like live somewhere that you can speak the language fully.
absolutely.
So I feel like once I like finish studying as much as I can here, by then, hopefully, I'm ready to like maybe live in Japan for a couple of years, and that'll really solidify it for me, and it'll be an awesome experience, hopefully. So that is a dream of mine one day
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
you could do it too. No, they have good boxing there too. Actually, I mean, they have good, yeah,
Yeah, I've heard.
everything. Yeah, not in there. How much you weigh? What are you tall or are you?
I'm a little bit taller than my dad. I'm
Okay,
5'10". I'm
okay,
not like the biggest guy. I mean,
yeah,
I do like lift weights, but like I don't want to be huge. I kind of want to be like that middle, like a good like boxing weight,
yeah,
like not too big, not too small. So I'm at a pretty good. I'm at about like 170. So I'd probably have to cut down, I think,
yeah,
because my trainer, he's a pro. He doesn't fight box. He fights MMA, but he's pro. He always has to cut to like I don't remember all the weight classes. I think he has to cut down like 155 or 165. But
yeah,
he's bigger than me, like way bigger. So I don't know, honestly. I'd have to talk to him about that.
yeah. Yeah, because that's what I liked about Japan and training out there because I'm a smaller guy. I was 135 is where I fought at, and they've got the people. I had a lot of skillful people, but even yeah, your way under I think yeah like under 185, Japan's a great place to train. But if you're bigger than
Mm,
185, then it's like then there's less
yeah,
people. They have people, but I'd say America would be a better place to
right,
train.
yeah.
But for me, I think some of my best training was in like I had a whole room full of people that were like my size. It was like pretty,
Yeah, that
pretty.
sounds
I don't
nice.
get that. Yeah, I don't get that in America. I'm always kind of small, so I get the experience of going with big people, but they're not as quick. So then I
Right, that's true. That's true. Do
yeah.
you still train like frequently?
No, not at all. Actually, I when I first came out to Thailand, I was looking to compete. I did take some Muay Thai fights. I fought 3 Muay Thai fights. And then I started teaching at a university and I taught like a PE class. And then there were some students in the university that were wanted to go pro and stuff. So I had some trained pretty hard with some individuals, but then I moved up here in the jungles. Been here 7 years, haven't done a single uh martial arts, but I do I I I get it. I mean, it's you might think like how could you like anybody who knows me or just martial arts like it's not something you can ever give up. It's part of your life, but it's transitioned
Mm.
for me. I do yoga and some like calisthenic workout in the morning, and then I just work on the land. So that's it's I've kind of
Oh
trans
yeah.
from man versus man to man versus nature. So I'm always my hands are in the dirt. I'm wheelbarrowing, shoveling, digging holes and stuff. So that's completely I'm able to get my yeah I get it there now. Yeah, now to me that's my passion. It's just I love planting trees and building walkways, wheelbarrowing rocks. I'm right now I'm making this enclosure for these tortoises. I'm gonna get some like giant tortoises. And in fact, I just found out I can get these Galapagos, the second largest tortoise, but it's like endangered, but I don't know. It's legal here. I'm looking into it. Or there's a farm that's selling them. And then but anyway, yeah, so like yeah, there's the African tortoise. Sakata is the third largest. I can get one of those. I just found out I can get this other one, Aldabra or something is it gets up to like 250 kilograms. So that's over 500 pounds when they're full
Oh
grown.
wow.
The largest tortoise of Galapagos it can get up to like they're like 1,000 pounds, I think. But those ones I don't think we can get. Those ones might be endangered, but anyway, so yeah, so yeah, I'm that's like my passion now is just
That's
doing
cool though, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, doing yeah, working with nature, building those. I do of course still love martial. I still well, it's funny there you may have heard the proverb, I rather be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in war. I don't know if that's Sun Tzu or what, but that's how I feel. I mean I feel like I'm still because you're once you've trained, you've got your the muscle memory of fighting is always there as long as you stay in shape. So I'm still in shape, even though I haven't done any sort of combat in 7 years. But I'm still it's in my brain. I am working. I'm doing a lot of the yard work. You are actually moving your muscles in that way that I feel like I think I could still hold my own if somebody tried to
Yeah, I'm sure. That's
infiltrate
one thing
my
I always
garden.
wonder is
Yeah.
if like sometimes I wonder if even like the way that my dad is, I still wonder if he like could just snap it on, like, just, like, flick the switch. I
Yeah,
don't know, you know, so, like, I'd really love to see what he could still do, like, cause you know, I don't know, I just wonder, cause like you say, like, muscle memory really doesn't leave you, but I wonder, like, even, like, now if it
yeah.
still, like, resonates.
Knowing him, I can't imagine it not, man. I mean, this, yeah, he's
Mm.
he was so that was one of the best things about him sometimes because he'd he'd wear his skinny jeans, he'd look all kind of emoed out, not he's incredibly strong, but he's not built like you would expect him to be a fighter or something if you didn't know him. And yeah, there'd be situations where somebody would like say something and he'd just punk them hard. It usually didn't get down to a fight. They just were so they'd say something and and he's always mild tempered, so he just like just his the way he'd confront somebody would they'd just back down immediately. They could see it. Yeah, I'm sure if he were in a situation, he'd be able to just pull off moves. I mean, yeah, the stuff he'd do sometimes. Say there's this uh what was it, Chance Farrar or somebody that we went down. Yeah, we went down to San Diego, and I mean, yeah, he'd just pull off these moves that I never even knew he knew, like these
Mhm.
jujitsu moves that he'd just be able to pull off. And then I was asking, like, what? Where'd you learn that? And he said he saw it on. He was just watch. He was watching like Genki Sudo or something. Just he was watching a fighter,
Well,
saw a move, and is like, and now he's like, yeah, I just figured I'd try it out in in the main event fight in the like San Diego Sports Arena, which is like Michael Jackson has played there and everything. It was one of the first Total Combat, which was this organization that we fought for back before mixed martial arts wasn't even legal when we first started
right,
to
right.
go to Mexico. But then that same organization moved to San Diego. We went down there completely. He was kind of the promoter knew he was good, but they were kind of trying to set him up against this guy who's like 5-0 and just up and coming D1 wrestler. I mean, so the higher level wrestler than your dad, even though your dad's an amazing wrestler. Also was training jujitsu at that time. Your dad didn't have like formal jujitsu training, and people didn't think he was a striker, but he came out and was just he was just striking, and then he got taken down, like he got slammed, and I've never seen your dad get slammed. He's a good wrestler, but and then he pulled off this. Yeah, he just went from a heel hook to a armbar, and it was just amazing. And yeah, like I said, I was like, when did you learn that? And yeah, he just said he saw it. Somebody Genki Sudo or somebody do it in a fight or something. So yeah. So I would say just like yeah, I would say he'd have to be able to hold his own. I mean, have you heard of
You
anything like
think,
that? I
right?
imagine if he's in on the streets that sometimes
I don't
people
know.
try to mess around, or Orville's a small town. I think people know him and probably maybe don't want to mess with him, or they probably got stories about him. Oh yeah, that I don't
I
know.
think people do know because, like, every time without fail, every time, like, his mugshot comes up online, like, in, like, a thing, there's always gonna be, like, some random guy in the comments like, "Hey, you know this guy used to be, like, badass MMA fighter." So, like, I mean, I'm sure people do know, but I don't think he's had to, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, man.
Although, there was a point when, like, cause there was a time when he was kind of clean for a little bit, and, these kids actually, like, mugged him when my grandma asked, and he, like, let them, and when my grandma asked, like, why, he was like, "'Cause they were just kids," and he said he didn't wanna hurt them, so which makes me think, like, he has to still know that
yeah,
he
yeah,
has
no,
to still know, right?
yeah, he's always been that way. I've always said he's docile as a lamb or something. I've used a couple phrases just like I mean, he's so good-hearted. Even like even yeah, I remember that time that he got tased. Do you know that story? Kind of what
I do know, yeah.
from what he said, yeah, from his perspective, yeah, it's just I know how it is in those apartment complexes. Yeah, he said he just went outside to smoke a cigarette or something. And what kind of wandering? It's easy to get lost in an apartment complex, and they all look the same. And he forgot which door he came from or something. And then so he kind of knocked on the wrong door. So it looked like he maybe looked like he had a face tattoo, and then yeah, that
Mm,
and then it was just the cops with their booming voice of like, "Hey, stop" or something, and so he just kind of tried to flee. He wasn't never, yeah, he I've never seen him aggressive. Like I said, there's a couple times when somebody says something, he's able to confront them in a way, but even then it's just kind of like not, yeah, he's never really done anything aggressive or uh he's never like
yeah.
tried to fight. Even in jail, I've heard stories too about like similar things where he's just like, "Hey, I don't want any trouble" or something. He drew a line in this jail cell or something, so just don't cross this line. Everything's gonna be okay. I don't know. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. Do you have any? Uh,
I mean, I don't really have a lot of stories, but I mean, my grandpa said that like when he used to fight, like he would even notice that like he would hold back a little bit, like he didn't like elbowing people because
yeah,
you know elbows obviously. He used to try to like hit people with his forearm instead. My
yeah,
grandpa would try to tell him like they're not gonna do the same for you, and he'd be like, well, but so
yeah,
yeah, no, that's true. And even today, even now, he still is like even if he acts, kind of crazy for lack of a better word, he is still, very like you can tell he's not like he doesn't want to hurt anybody. He's
yeah,
not, in that way, he's still, docile. He's still harmless, but not at the same time, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. That's what I think a lot of people just, yeah, always could respect about him and stuff. Yeah, genuinely kind. Yeah, to his opponents afterwards. I mean that's common in mixed martial arts too. A lot of I've had a lot of good conversations with some of the fighters we afterwards, and I'm sure even like sparring the people you spar with sometimes they're
Mm. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
but even competition now they're from somebody you don't know, but you do it is uh a bond that you have and yeah, that's why there are so many people that when I travel around or people that I still communicate with in the mixed martial arts world that they always yeah he always made an impression on everybody like just because of his skill but also how humble he was and how soft natured he is um but so yeah you mentioned cyber security. Well, how did you get
Oh
into
yeah.
or what yeah what were your did you excelled I saw you excelled pretty well academically and in
Yeah, I
in
guess you
certain
could
areas.
say.
What
I
I
mean,
mean, because that's not a high school course. So yeah, what kind of courses led you to get into that field?
well, I've always liked technology. I'm sorry it's dark out here, by the way. It just
Oh
got
yeah,
dark.
oh that's right. Yeah, it's okay.
Um, Well, I've always just liked technology. Like even like as a kid, like my like unrealistic like childish job was still like video game designer, which is still like technology programming. So I just like the idea, I've always liked technology. I like picking around with it, and I think definitely be a job that I'd find the most enjoyment in. And I mean, it's a job that is never going to go away, and so it's perfect time, to get into that sort of field.
Yeah,
So,
no, definitely. I mean, what is I mean, of course we got so it never. I mean, how does AI play into it? Because of course that's the big thing is how AI are going to take jobs. So I mean, cybersecurity. I know that AI can like write programs and stuff. I mean,
it
why
can,
why is it
yeah.
safe? Why is it safe from AI or what? Why is there a
Well, for me specifically, I want to work in like server rooms, like managing like mass servers, which that's a human job. Like it's not like a computer program that does
okay?
that.
Nice,
But I
nice.
mean, to a degree, there's definitely like gonna be like digital jobs like what you were saying, like there's a lot of jobs that are like IT because okay, the problem with like talking about IT, right, is that the field of IT is so big that somebody who like fixes like graphics cards and then somebody who's like in the FBI working like on like in a server room are both IT even though their job is nothing alike. It's just
Mhm.
such a big field. So there are parts of IT, of course, that will
Yeah,
like what you were saying. I've even heard like for like exactly what you're saying, like with programs, like because AI can just write codes.
yeah,
So I mean, there's gonna become a point where you won't even really need humans to do much besides just assemble, AI written code.
Yeah.
And I know like even there are schools now that are starting to teach courses in how to use AI like to its full extent,
Yeah, I think
which
that
is
is
crazy to me.
I think that is, I think there is. I mean, for me, because like I'm an English teacher online, and my students
Mm,
are they're Chinese, and I started by working for companies that kind of, because they have such a large population and they want native English speakers to help them, whether we're training them to be spies or just to be international businessmen, or whatever. I'm just uh as a I always felt that they were actually using the data from our videos to create AI, and it turns out they are. Some of my students, they have these AI programs that are um that they're able to communicate with and help them. They're not as good as uh people yet anyway, but I keep just thinking about, okay, well, how can I just use AI? And I do use AI for like my power. Now I don't work for a company anymore. I have all private students, and I create my own lessons, so I can make them real
mm,
personal. And I am using AI to enhance my lessons. So I feel like, yeah, we have to look at it that way, just like the turn of the 20th century and the industrial
yeah,
revolution in the 1900s didn't actually take jobs from people. It just kind of changed. So I think
yeah,
that's yeah, I think if you can figure out how AI will help you, it, that innovation. I mean, there are things that AI can kind of maybe find areas that need to be developed, but it's kind of seems like that human um it takes that, like, because I mean, AI uses these large language models of, they can use all this data that already exists to solve
right,
problems,
right,
but like a new problem, I'm not sure how well they are able to
yeah,
recognize a novel problem, although I'm sure that will come about too. Yeah, I guess as,
right, of course.
but yeah. Um, so
Personally,
yeah,
I was just gonna say, like, personally, my biggest concern is more with like creative jobs, like for like the artist, where we see so many like like TV, even like Marvel, using AI for like their opening sequences and like movies that are using AI and like trying to be sneaky about it. Or like
yeah,
even if you've seen like how there's AIs where you can write lyrics and then have like you could have like Drake, for example, dub his voice with AI.
yeah,
That is really what gets me more so is because like I feel like it's kind of a moral to take money from, these artists who already have a hard
mhm,
enough job, like, where it's like it's hard enough to live as an artist as your only job, and
yeah,
then you're sort of taking money from them and using AI is where I see the main issue with it more so,
absolutely, yeah,
because I feel like AI should be used more for the jobs that are already mundane and really we don't need people working on them,
yeah,
uh, instead of jobs like that, which really should be human jobs, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think yeah, because I have a yeah, a good friend. He's a year older than me. He just came out here, but he knows your dad too, but he actually graduated. He already graduated when your dad was a freshman, but he's an art teacher.
Mm.
But he does sculptures, and
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, no, and he does them with different materials. He combines clay, ceramics, welding, this extra epoxy thing, and he kind of find a niche. I mean, in a way, that's for creative artists. Yeah, paintings are going to be that. I think AI can do simple things, and even with 3D printing,
Right.
you can connect AI to 3D printing, but it kind of pushes, I think, the creative artist to, you got to come up with something that they can't do, at least yet. You got to stay ahead of them, and so he definitely is. The sculpture, because he said there already are sculptor, if you're just using one medium, like ceramic or plaster or something, that there already are AI with 3D printing that can mass produce,
Mm.
amazing creations. So, but if you can stay on the edge, I part of that is what people have to do. I like what I'm doing out here. I think the one thing, yeah, people will need is the nature. So just by having this land to come out to and get put your hands in the dirt and plant trees. I mean, of course, AI could do farming, but I look at it from a perspective as like this is actually what the that is the valuable thing is interacting with nature and planting and picking your own
Hmm.
things. So and yeah, so uh yeah, that's yeah, so it's gonna be a I mean, yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I think you're definitely, yeah, you're the youngest person I've had on this podcast. Most of the people are about my
Oh,
age. So you're kind of like a generation below, so it's really interesting talking to you. So I mean, and that I've been away from America for 12 years, so that's almost, it's almost uh, a generation already. So what's it like on the ground now? Of course, this election year is crazy, but ever since COVID, things have been getting things are weird. There's political things going on, but there's cultural things going on. Just like in your yeah, what is the state? What is the general consensus of your generation and the state of America, the state of the world? Environment's also obviously an issue. Technology is an issue. Um, in any insights? Yeah, I got to take advantage of talking to the youth. You guys are our future. Uh,
um,
you're gonna carry on this.
yeah. Give me 1 second though. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try and see if I can turn on the light because it's like so
Oh,
dark out here.
okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Grandma, where's the light for out here? Oh, oh, I got it. There we go.
Yep.
There. It was
Hi,
so
Mama.
dark.
On mute,
Hey,
turn the mic
Mama,
on.
Chrissy.
She couldn't hear you. You're in my
Oh, okay,
headphone,
okay.
but
I'll just give her.
I'll tell her you said hi later.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Here, hold on, let me.
So, um,
I mean,
yeah,
so honestly, I'm not the best person to ask about that stuff because I'm
yeah,
not like a political person per
yeah,
se.
yeah.
I don't really like I don't really like keep my
Sure.
head in
Uh,
politics.
better that way, I think. Yeah. What about just like, well, I mean, like the technology and stuff. I mean, is that like what I guess aspirations just for your generation? Like, I think about it that like in when I was graduating or in university, yeah, there were a lot of like, yeah, there's a lot of graphic designers, and I think that one's probably getting
Mm,
taken over. Um, and then there's a lot of like accountants and stuff. I don't see that being a popular. I mean, that a lot of my friends that have good money kind of went
mm.
into business and accounting. It seems like okay, those jobs probably. I mean, they're still important, but those I don't know. So yeah, yeah. What are the hot like fields of? I mean, is that common? Or are you? I've never heard of that. I mean, I know
Um,
cybersecurity. I hear that, but that wasn't available. Is that a popular area? Is everybody going? I kind of visualize everybody's going into some technology of some like, or are there still people doing these traditional routes?
well, here's the thing. So, okay, to give you a little bit of background, I throughout my whole high school career. So, are you familiar with AP, like the AP program? Like it's basically, like the College Board. Basically AP classes are like college classes, but you take them in high school. But
Yeah.
it's different it's like dual enrollment, but instead of dual enrollment where you're actually enrolled in a college, you're just taking the same material, but in high school as a high school class. That way, like, let's say you do bad in an AP course, it's not already on your college transcript. So
Okay.
like I have done like that's basically all I did, which is probably
Okay.
what you're thinking of when you say like I did good academically, because like
Yeah.
that's all I did. So I already have
And
like a
you get
lot
a
of college
grade
credits.
point higher too, right? Or like
Yes,
'cause
you
that was what
do.
I remember. That's how I had a 4.0 because we didn't have that many AP classes, just biology and physics and uh,
Mm,
mm, calculus or something. There's a couple AP classes, but I almost got a B in all my AP classes, but it was still worth a 4.0. So uh,
yes,
yeah,
that's exactly how it works.
that was what I remember of it. And then I guess they did transfer as credits. Is that what you're saying? So You actually
it's
got credits
so
for it or no? Yeah, I don't
yeah,
remember.
you do. So what you have to do is you basically take the class, and then at the end of the year, you take this big important test.
Oh, that's
And
right.
then if you, depending on what you score on the test, you'll get credits. If you don't
That's
score
right.
high enough, they consider it. Because like the idea is that if you got a good enough score on the test, that's basically like saying that if you took the class in college, you would have basically passed it. So
Okay.
there's no point in you taking it again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I took that's the idea. I don't think I ever took the test. I just kind of took advantage of the extra grade point that I got. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think, yeah, I don't remember if I actually, but anyway, so you did a lot of those. So you already have,
I did pretty
you
much,
already
yeah,
are
that's
you,
pretty much
how
everything I
far are
did.
you? Are you already like a semester or a year?
Uh, Probably at least a semester. At least a semester. Um, Among those, I actually did AP psychology. That was an awesome class.
Oh, nice, nice.
I did a lot. But my point to this is, so when you, it's kind of sad. So like, I think this will probably give you a little bit of what you're asking about.
Hmm.
Uh, we've had a lot of discussions about it because like when you take these classes, you get to really meet like the brightest students of like, because even me, like my friends, all of my friends are like way like genius smarter than me. Like I have friends that are going like Ivy League colleges. Like my
Yeah.
friend, like most of my friends are like, the people that like you get to know, like when you because I mean I had like all A's, and even like I would have been considered still like a little bit lower end, like the lower end of like the smart kid group, right? Because
Okay.
like, but when you get to meet these people, something that we've realized is like we're kind of privileged in a way, because when you go and look at what like the standard has become, like the classes that these kids are like, the kids that don't like push themselves to take AP and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's kind of sad because these kids are like, they get like bare bones, like they don't have to do, it's like you look at what they're doing and it's like so decelerated. And it's like, not to call them, like I'm not calling them stupid or calling them less, it's not them, it's like the system, right? Like
Yeah.
they don't put as much effort, I
Yeah.
feel, which is kind of sad. So like when you see these kids, the kids that end up in these classes, like it makes you wonder like what happens when they go to college and they're so used to like this lackluster, type of class. And then like when you get to college, they're gonna have so much more asked of them. More when you take these higher level classes, you're prepared for that because it's what you go through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like these kids, so it's kind of sad to me because like you see them, like a lot of them, like when I talk to these kids, like a lot of them, and it's a culture problem too, I feel, but like a lot of them don't have as many aspirations, like, they don't, want to work as much because I feel like they're not pushed as hard, which is sad to me, really. Because
Yeah.
like just because they're not deciding to take these higher level classes, they're held to such a low standard.
At what point did that come in? Is that, I mean, are you introduced, like, is that like elementary level? You're kind of put on the
Um,
gifted route, or at what
yeah,
point are you
well,
kind of spotted and put in a different uh
okay.
trajectory?
So in elementary school, I do remember like they do have it's not as important at the time, but the way it works is I remember like as soon as you get to high school, so your teachers actually get to recommend classes based on like your prior performance. And you you get put depending on what they say, but you can like change it if you like want to, but they get to suggest, kind of like a college advisor, but it's like your teachers get to advise. So like if they put you in AP, like if they suggest it, that's like pretty much what you'll do, but you can choose outside of that though. And yeah, so like as soon as I got in the ninth grade, I was like I'd already started on it. But like not everybody, and like here's the problem, right, is like, the kids, right, that don't get uh trying to like phrase this properly. Like if they're not
Put on that
pressured
track,
or
or
not, yeah, put on that track, it's like, well, they don't get a chance to like work, like to like get pressured to work harder, to like
yeah.
they kind of just let them,
Well, do
fall
those,
behind a little bit.
are those students want to go to university necessarily? Because it seems like trade school, I mean, like construction, electricity, plumbing, all these things are those are strong jobs, and like just from a worldly
Oh
perspective,
yeah, of course.
those are like those type of jobs don't pay, like out here in Thailand, it seems more important. That's what's so nice here that I'm able to hire like to get anything uh done. It's actually really cheap. And then when I talk in America, it seems like those are actually well paying
Oh yeah.
forms. I mean,
Actually, yeah, no. I really like dislike when people like talk down about like labor jobs, like, and like trades like that, because honestly, like I feel like trades are really like those are perfectly like viable. Like if you want to do a trade, go for it. And that's true. Like in America, like people make good money. Like you want to be like an electrician, like they make pretty good money. And even like in my school, they have like programs now in schools where if that's what you really want to do, you can start in high school. And if you
yeah,
decide to take those programs, you can build up to it. So like right after high school, you can go right into like a trade school. So
yeah,
they do have a lot of support for that. But once again, if you're a kid that's like, you're not pressured to look into things like that,
yeah,
sometimes I feel like kids kind of get left behind a little bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah,
So,
that's yeah.
and it's just something that like we've realized because like we kind of started to realize, and we talked about it, amongst our peers, where we realize like when you take these classes, you only see the same like group, like two or three groups of kids, because
Okay.
it's only like, and it's kind of shows you like the small pool that really are like, that we have. I'm really grateful like to have been surrounded by so many awesome people and amazing teachers that have like, the support of my family to really push me, to be able to do those things. But I feel bad because I feel like there definitely are a lot of kids that are just not given the same, when they probably are smart enough to do it, they probably have enough of a drive to do it, but they just kind of get left behind sometimes, which I think is
Yeah,
really sad. It's really unfortunate.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
At least in Ford, I don't know what it's like everywhere, but in Ford it definitely seems that way.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine, yeah, there are, yeah, and then yeah. No, I know. Growing up, it's funny you say that left behind because that there's the phrase "no child left behind," but that was
Yeah.
one of well, that was one program and that we had. But at the same time, I felt like there were times when that was also troublesome because I felt like the teachers would move slower or more slowly because um and there wasn't options to yeah, I don't I mean it's kind of cool that there are these different tracks though to I didn't have that. It would have been nice
Mm,
to have those things. So it is hard. And I look at this the Chinese system is really crazy too. I because teaching all my students the reason they have like a it's weird. It's I mean a I mean it's communist country, but then at the same time they have it's like this meritocracy where they're trying to level the playing field. They don't want students to take extra classes. They want to give everybody the same exact education, which is impossible, of course, but
mm,
then kind of let the cream rise to the top. So I mean it's really like that though. I mean the students there, yeah, if you get you they kind of get spotted and on track and they have a system for their country. It works. I mean, they're able to identify students who are strong in certain subjects and then they get put on these tracks. And most of the students that I have are more advanced and their parents are more I mean they have the money to take some extra lessons, but and kind of and help them, but they have these super high stakes tests every year, like and
mm.
their cities are so huge. I mean, they've got these just megapolis cities that are like ridiculously huge. I mean, very concentrated, and so they have so many schools in one city, and they start high stakes testing, yeah, in elementary school, and then you're getting like you're taking entrance exams for elementary school and middle school and high school and then university, and it's I mean, so it's like the whole it's so much pressure on those students. I mean, it's really sad they take so many
Yeah.
extra classes, and then yeah, sometimes I see that. So it's hard to know what the balance is. I like the idea of tracks and getting students on tracks early. But at the same time, then I think about where I was. I didn't know wanted to do it. Sure, it would suck to get on a track that that you there's a lot of
Yeah.
I think from a country perspective, it's a good system because you're gonna produce a lot of uh people who can do things, but there's gonna be some, yeah, there's gonna be some students left behind, some students on a track that they just have no passion for. Um, but I don't know if there's a perfect system that can do it. Um, but yeah, that's a yeah, I imagine yeah, I hear about Florida. Yeah, Florida's got the different is that more of a I mean that's I mean California's known as a real liberal. Florida I get mixed feelings, but I feel like lately it's been
Mm,
more of a conservative type of
that's what I hear.
but I don't know if what city are you in, a major city or
I live I live about, so like I'm not like in a major city, but I live like 10 minutes from Orlando. So like I live right next to Orlando,
okay.
but I don't live in Orlando. I
Yeah.
live in like a little town. There's like this little clump of towns, and I live in an area called Altamont Springs. Really nice little area.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the political climate is like there though. Like I don't know like what is the major thing. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even know,
Yeah.
honestly. Because
Yeah.
like I feel like it would be a little more liberal just because there's like Florida's very diverse, and like when you think
Yeah.
diverse, sometimes I feel like it makes you think like, because minorities tend to be liberal, like I
Yeah.
feel so.
Yeah. 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 I always,
So I don't know,
yeah.
but I honestly don't know. I know nothing about, like, I'm not
Yeah.
versed enough to tell.
Yeah. 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 No, no, I don't know that much. I grew up a little bit in Pennsylvania, but yeah, I'm not that familiar with the East Coast. But when I teach my Chinese students like just I basically show them California, Texas, Florida, New York. I kind of have them just I like giving them introducing a little world geography and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I just know these states. I don't know. Those are the states that
Hmm.
seem like, and then
Yeah.
Washington D.C. I show them where it's at, kind of, but that's its own little. If they want to know where the capital is, but that's kind of close to New York anyway, in that region. Just kind of show them mainly just what's East Coast, West Coast. So there's different kind of spot it. Uh, not to offend anybody in the center or all these other places, but those are kind of the yeah. It seems like there's a lot of stuff going on in Florida,
Hmm.
New York, California.
Yeah. Florida's got it going. It's a pretty cool state. I mean,
Yeah, you got all
got a
the
lot of stuff. I mean, you got
beaches and stuff.
Universal.
Yeah,
It's a pretty cool state, yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah. All right, man. Yeah. Um, so how long are you in Orville then till you start all the way till August almost or the rest of the month? Rest of the
no,
month? Couple weeks.
till the 23rd of July. So,
Okay.
pretty
All right.
much the end of the month,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
almost.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess we can wrap it up. But yeah, I want to thank you for talking to me and
Oh,
sharing
yeah,
some
no
stuff
problem.
and yeah, I hope something I said is you can yeah, you can pass on to your dad at some point and yeah, even if it just doesn't resonate with him right away, it just kind of in the he hears it or yeah, and if he ever wants to if he ever wants to talk to me or anything, yeah, I'd love to have a yeah, I'd love to talk to him sometime or something, but um and yeah, I hope he doesn't feel shame. It's funny. I mean, if it ever comes up, it'd be nice to just let him know. I actually feel like yeah, I the opposite almost like um yeah that he thinks that uh yeah like I I feel like I let him down at some point or something like it can't help that
Hmm.
so or like he could resent something about just our time yeah you basically using together yeah to say it frankly yeah I feel like that was a bad influence. I mean we're all responsible for our own decisions of course but still that feels like uh it's still in the back of my mind um but good luck with Cybersecurity. So you're gonna work for the FBI or something, or
No,
state,
I'd rather work for a
you're gonna be a
private
hacker.
company.
Okay.
I'd
Okay.
rather work for a private company somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So okay, that
I think it'd be cool to like work in Japan because I kind of get my
okay.
two, like, my
Yeah.
two, you know, dream ideas together there.
Cool, cool. That's all right. Well, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I'm glad having this podcast kind of made it. Uh, I don't know if we'd ever have this conversation. It's not necessary that it had to be podcast and broadcast, but I appreciate you uh
No, yeah, no, I
up for that.
understand.
And and now we've made a connection, so I'll probably follow you a little more, seeing what you're doing, and like I said, I do throw this out there that for you, you'll be younger, you'll still be young, but yeah, it's still far away. The 2040 is my when I'm gonna have an annual gathering just to kind of reconnect with nature. So I feel like as our society progresses technologically and gets more advanced, that's one thing that I'll be able to have to offer is just, hey, come here,
Mm,
live off the land. I'm planning to live off the land. I don't know if I can say 100% where I'm like 100% self-sustaining, but I'm I'm approaching that, and we'll hopefully get closer and closer to that. And I think it'll be a fun experience, And like I said, it's not a. I don't want to make it a business endeavor. Hopefully, I have enough structure where it's just yeah, it's just open for anybody to come. So, you might be the uh, youngest group. Maybe you can help watch over all of us old people wandering around. Who knows? But yeah, no, I like to keep that open, and I'm glad to kind of get to talk to you, and uh, I'm sure
yeah.
we'll talk here and there, maybe chat or something again. So have a good one. Thanks.
All right. No problem. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.